Can I take my clothes off yet? Are we supposed?
I think that's how we're supposed to start the show.
Are we? Are we
I
doing?
have no idea. How do we?
Are
know
we
if
doing?
it's
Are we doing it naked?
First of all, I can't believe you didn't own a tank top. How's that even? Wait, I don't get that.
I put on a tank top.
But you didn't own one before today?
I did not. I literally did not own a tank top. All I had like one slingshot, and I don't even have it with me, and one wife beater, and that's it. No, I literally had to go buy a tank top, and I saw a pink one. And I'm like, well, fuck you guys. I'm buying a pink tank top.
I mean, hey, well, listen, I didn't want to recommend it and come out and say, Dave, you should buy the gayest thing you can find, but you did it anyways. So, and I love it.
He doesn't let people.
No, listen, I couldn't have asked for it to be better than that. That's awesome, and it takes a true man to just go ahead and throw on the pink tank top and rock it. So.
Oh, please. Dude, I'm gonna start producing pink tank tops, and I'm gonna print right on them. Yeah, it's a pink tank top. Fuck with it.
Yeah,
right.
It's on. So hey guys, we're already jumping on. We got a few. Nothing wrong with the pink. We got a few guys popping on. This is actually. I'm gonna let you know this right now. I'm gonna point my finger to where's Halfpenny over here. Oh, where'd he go? He dropped. Well, he disconnected. So, anyways, this is a Halfpenny's brainchild, and he's already dropped on out.
He's already out. Fuck it, I'm out. You guys suck.
We'll get him back. He's like, we'll get him back on. This is Phil Halfpenny's kind of half child, and what we're doing here is.
Am I here?
Yeah, TankTopTrio is in effect, and what we got going here is Phil's like, hey, let's get together, guys. I mean, we formed kind of like this backyard brotherhood, right?
It's a gang, is what it is.
Yeah,
it's a very small, very vicious gang, but it's
a very small, very very unmanly gang.
Hey, that's the deal. So we've got the manly coach to help us.
Unconventional gang.
Unconventional gang. That's
absolutely,
where we're at.
Absolutely. So
yeah,
we've got the Tank Top Trio in effect. For those of you who don't know who one or the other is, we'll go ahead and let the intros kind of roll up. Phil Halfpenny, go ahead. Since it is your brainchild, why don't you lead off, and I'll let you go ahead and describe the intent of this.
Okay, so I don't actually think this is my brainchild, but I seem.
No, you are being blamed for everything that happens. Know this.
Oh. Okay. I can't see you guys, by the way. I dropped off and then came back in, and you're not there anymore, which is fine. But I can still see me, so that's the main thing. So I'm Phil. Obviously, I'm from the UK. The other two guys that are with me, I sort of dragged them into this to kind of hold my hand because they're both really cool and I'm not. But fortunately, I can say anything I want to because I've got a lovely accent. So here I am. I am a writer. I do a little bit of. I've written a book about finance. I write about men's issues. A little bit of. I've discussed some mental health issues, which I've gone through myself. And trying to be easier to live in for other people by using your own experiences to sort of. I don't know, piggyback onto other people's experiences and maybe help them out. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. That's where I'm at. That's who I am. And if you want to say hi, just shoot a message. I have no idea if I'll say it. So on comments on this because I won and it kicked me out. So I'm not the tech guy here.
Phil Halfpenny, Dave, go ahead. Give us your spiel, brother.
What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dave Gieselman. I am a transformational empowerment coach. I work out of Los Angeles, California, and I'm here to hang out with these guys. That's what I'm here for. They're way cooler than I am, so I'm gonna hang out. It's three guys. We're talking about dad shit. We're talking about husband shit. We're talking about man shit. We all have this idea that we're trying to figure out who we are. One of the biggest like moments in my life, and after I was a husband and after I was a father, was the moment I realized that my father was making it up as he went along too. Like he had no more idea what the hell he was doing than I did. And so being able to really get into these conversations with other men who are willing to be vulnerable, who are willing to be authentic, who are willing, God, that fucking guy, Jesus Christ, who are willing to be vulnerable, who are willing to be authentic, and who are willing to just really lay it out there and not be, not be too cool for school. And the three of us just sit around and we have these amazing conversations, and we talk about stuff that's real. We talk about, opportunities for growth. We talk about opportunities to become better men than we were, and we get into health and all kinds of stuff. I do one-on-one and group coaching, and I have clients all over the world. It's what I do. If you guys want to find me, you can go through my Facebook page. My website is Become Limitless. Become-limitless. We'll talk more about that later. We'll post links and everything else. So that's who I am. I am super grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be attached to these two handsome characters. As far as looks go, I feel like I'm the weak link here, but I'm working on it, guys.
You got the best hair. You got the best hair, Dave, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So
I'm possibly the most hair.
So I think anybody tuning in, I think I'm hosting the feed, but if you don't know me and if I just spam invited you as a friend, I've got problems. I'm not the only one. So thanks for accepting my invite. And for those of you that have always wondered why this guy reached out to me, what's he about? Where's he going with everything that he's going forward with? I started a podcast earlier this year on fatherhood. I did it for all the wrong reasons. And I'm kind of like I liken myself a little bit to the Grinch when he goes, steals Christmas, jacks it all up, or like any movie where the guy goes, does everything for all the wrong reasons, and it's like, here's why I'm really doing it. So the wrong reasons, I'm just gonna be as honest as I can and transparent. It was like, I was trying to chase down the quick money fix or creating groups and the internet hot market thing. As it turns out, it has made a huge transformation in my life by choosing fatherhood. It has made me focus on becoming the man that I want to become and being the family man, the dad that I want to be, which I wasn't even aware that I wanted to be this guy. And I stumbled into all this, started the Facebook group, Fatherhood for the Rest of Us as well. And it's attracting gentlemen such as Phil Halfpenny, Dave Gieselman to all kind of come in. And this is where we speak to each other, like Dave was saying. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to share what you're going through. Don't be afraid to share your excitements and all the awesome things that are going on too. But to do it in a place and from the heart, where you're not going to get smashed, dragged through a bunch of shit because ain't none of us not been there. That's perfect incorrect grammar. Again, I came at it the wrong angle, but I'm ended up in the right place. So anybody that wants to join me in the right place, which is where we are now, can do that in Dave, turn on your lights, man. Can do that over at Fatherhood for the Rest of Us. Podcast is fatherhoodfortherestofus.com, where I interview such people. Dave's been on the podcast. Larry Hagner, Jason McKenzie, plenty of people on the podcast, and I just have conversations with those guys talking about trying to be a better dad, man, or just working on becoming the man that you want to become. And it is all a process. I think that's what we find ourselves. All three of us are like, hey, we're all in the process of becoming, or we have become or are amazing men, and we want to share the journey with everybody as we do it. I think that, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm amazing. I guess I'm not amazing enough to make it onto Brandon's podcast list, though,
No,
right?
he keeps like trying to I keep sending him invites. He's like I'm in England. I don't know. We can't talk at the same time together. It's weird. So Phil's on the docket. But so again, I want to say thanks to Phil for firing this one up. He is an amazing character. He is the kind of guy that he's done it to me. So I can only imagine that he's done this to a lot of people. But he's the type of guy that is going to offer unrequested encouragement. I mean, so he goes out, he's encouraging people. So it's a great guy. Dave's doing it likewise. He's very supportive. I know that I've gone through just hit a rough patch here and there. I think we all have some valleys. I've come to Dave with some valleys, and Dave's been like, just call me, man. and we've had some conversations. And so I think what we've kind of stumbled upon is what a lot of other people are aware of, and that is just having a strong support group of men to talk our shit through.
For sure.
And the social support groups. Oh, go on, Dave. Go on.
I was going to say, so where are we starting this? I just want to say that this whole thing is exciting to me because the whole concept of this broadcast, and yeah, Phil, we're blaming the whole thing on you. So whatever happens, you're getting the blame here, which is cool. But know that this is all your fault.
You've done this to yourself.
Right, you've done this to yourself. You have no one to blame but yourself. But this idea that we're just going to sit there,
tank top isn't my fault.
Right. Is we're just going to have a conversation. We're just going to, and you guys can chime in on this stuff, and you guys can shoot in your messages. Well, basically, we're going to be three guys talking about the guy shit that we go through, and I love. So that's the format of this broadcast. Is we're gonna talk about the stuff that's relevant to us.
Well, I mean,
we had a really cool idea. Oh, go on, Brian.
Right.
I mean, one of the ones, and we're just going to kind of hit on some topics, right? One of the ones that Phil actually came up with a couple topics. I posted it yesterday, and it got a lot of attention. And Phil, being from England, knows all about this more so than his American brethren, and that's manners. And kind of are they relevant today, and are they being taught, and that sort of thing. So, Phil, I mean, what was your thought behind that when you threw that one out there? What were you thinking?
Yeah, okay. Just a quick one because you guys have just been over this. The whole idea of this being all over Facebook as well, it was like a really good idea because it's men talking about men stuff, but obviously I think Dave brought up when we were talking about that is involved in this, and they can ask questions that maybe they wouldn't normally ask, or they can, and we can help to understand each other and the mindsets a little bit better. So that was sort of part of the reason why we sort of came up with this as well. But back to the point. So manners. What we were talking about there was, well, my initial thought on that was, raising kids today, raising children, particularly young men. With the whole, and we'll go into, we don't have to go into this into detail, but with the whole, Harvey Weinstein thing, at the moment, and you look at maybe other young men having these sort of influences in their lives where, maybe it's okay to smack a girl on the arse as they walk past her in a nightclub, or maybe it's okay, you don't have to look behind you to see if anyone's there to open the door, because they're not, it's like live for the moment sort of thing, live for your own kind of life. And I was kind of thinking, a man is even relevant anymore. Does anyone care if you hold the door open for them? And then I thought, do you know what? If you raise polite young children, they always get a comment. So if you go somewhere, and Loren does this really well with the boys are always, when you take them out anywhere, or they go somewhere new, or there's family members there, they always comment on how polite they are. They say yes, they say no, they say thank you, they say please, that sort of thing. And getting those core values right at a young age, I think maybe it doesn't eliminate destructive behaviour, but I think it's a good part of laying a solid moral groundwork for young men and young women. And maybe later on in life, they I'm just getting a load of comments through, which is confusing the hell out of me. So maybe later on in life, that might feel a little bit better on them. I don't know. That was my thoughts behind it, but you guys will have your own opinions. I don't know if that's bullshit or not. Thanks, Corey.
As far as manners go, it's not that I think that we don't want our children, or we don't want to raise our children without manners. I'm messing around with all the stuff over here. It's not that we don't want to raise children with manners. I think that times as they change, what are the expectations? What are the manners that can be expected, and what is the, no pun intended, manner in which we teach them those manners? I think, to me, that is the question, as I see it.
You know what? It's when I think about manners, I think about how they've served me, and I think about how they're going to serve my son. That's where it boils down to me. Like, is it a mating thing? Is it a courting thing? Is it a personal interaction thing? And the real question is, what purpose or do manners serve? And why is it important that my son has them? You know, and I'm left with a couple of ideas. A, that basic manners, the pleases, the thank yous, the table manners, the holding doors, the real kind of general niceties are sort of like the level playing field on which we kind of meet each other, right? And as this world gets smaller, as the global economy becomes tighter, and we are engaged with more and more diverse group of people, the people who can engage other people with the greatest level of making them feel comfortable, with the greatest level of me being able to put you at ease, meaning I have my mannerisms, my ability to talk to you, my ability to host a conversation or host an event or host a dinner or host a lunch, all the things, all the ways in which I can interact with you, the more I can put you at ease and the more I can make you comfortable, the more we're going to do some business and the more we're going to get into each other's realm. So if I can instill these things in my son, and as he grows up, he can move fluidly from social situation to social situation, understand immediately what is required of him, what the current sort of like social level and social temperature of the room is, then he can find himself in that place and really operate well. I still remember how to set and use like a 21-piece table setting because that's what I was taught as a kid. I don't know if that's necessarily like as relevant information today, but I know holding the door for men and women.
Why would you cut that out, right? Like, I personally think that it's vitally important. If let's just say we go out to eat a nice dinner, and my child doesn't know how to use the silverware, like just the kind of way they're laid out, and to me that means something.
Just because style of service has changed over the years, and having all of that china and silver in front of you is no longer like a real relevant. It's no longer a real common way to find yourself sitting. I don't know what it looks like in the UK these days, Phil. But even you go to formal dinners, and the sequence of service has them putting down utensils and silver as it's needed, rather than having every piece laid out and knowing which order to address it all in. Far more important to me is that he can have an eyeball to eyeball conversation with a bunch of adults, knows how to speak to a server, knows how to order without creating a problem for himself, the server, the kitchen, or the people around him. Like, those are the manners that have always I concern myself with. I'm interested in hearing your opinion on why some of the more archaic manners are important, because I never thought they were. I mean, I was taught them, but they don't seem particularly relevant to me today. I'm interested in hearing why you think they are.
I mean, Phil, do you want to chime in? Where you at?
Yeah. So when you talk about the archaic, what do you mean? Like basic stuff, like I don't know, holding the door open for someone, or the whole eating from the outside in with the knives and forks.
From the outside in,
right? And being able to set that table and really being able to do that. I mean, isn't that a little archaic? I don't know. I think it is, but it may not be.
Well, that's exactly, and I think that's exactly what the conversation is about, right? Manners and the expectation.
Well, I suppose what's more important out of everything, which I guess is the question, would be your personal manners. So how a person carries themselves and holds themselves. Okay, well, I don't know. Yeah, it's still important to know how to go out to dinner. It's still important to know that, it's still important to be able to eat, not being a slob. there's nothing worse than someone sitting there eating soup and getting, slurping everywhere. But it's still important to know that you've got to behave yourself in company. And I think that's, part and parcel of you. It's no good coming along, and Brandon's about to explode. I think it's no good coming along, and being able to say, "Oh, you look wonderful tonight. Your hair looks beautiful. Let me pull the chair out for you." Okay, and now, by the way, I'm going to eat this. And you've got spaghetti everywhere, and there's bits of meatball flying out of your mouth because you're talking with your mouth open. You can't have one without the other. Yeah, absolutely.
The reason I would say that it's important to know they eat from the outside in, and that type of mannerism is, we want them to be able to act in any situation accordingly. So should they be presented in whatever situation, archaic or not, have at least a finger, what do they say? Like, finger deep knowledge of it. Right. That to me, means a lot. It just shows that they've got an interest in what you're interested in, and are making an attempt to, at the very least, to fit into your society culture. And that's showing a respect thing, right? Like, it's kind of like, you worked in kitchens all those years. It'd be like, and in California, and I worked out there.
I eat with my hands and.
No, what I'm getting at though is, like, when you're working in a kitchen, and it's well known that there's a bunch of Spanish speaking citizens in California, and it's like, when you're talking to a person from another culture, maybe their English isn't as good as your English, but you know enough Spanish to have a conversation, right? It's putting forth that effort to meet that person where they're at. For sure.
I think what's another interesting point to think of is sort of like almost like a challenge. So, like you're talking about, like, obviously the kids with the manners. A really interesting thing would be, what do they behave like when you're not in the room? I think that's an important benchmark with kids as well. So, if they've been instilled with good manners, if when you leave the room they carry on acting the way they were acting before you left.
Right.
You know what kids are like.
Right.
And I think, and I don't know if this is a case of, and this is probably going slightly off onto something else entirely, but maybe if they think they're going to get into trouble, they're not going to do that. Or maybe because those manners have been instilled to them from a very young age, that's just the way they're going to act. I don't know. That's an entire thing. They don't act like that. Are they actually, and does it reflect them, and does it hold them in good stead for later life?
So I got to go.
I suppose
that's all I know.
It
says like all these words that are, English and stuff. Phil, where are you from, man?
Well, you guys speak English as well. It's
just not as well. English. Not as well. Just I'd like it. Anyways, it's like English.
Brandon doesn't talk good, like you do.
He don't talk good like I do.
You don't talk good like you do, man.
Oh man. So the I think again that this is kind of just like a springboard, right? Where we got this group together to have conversations like this, and to form this group, the Tank Top Trio, to take on some of these things and to have these conversations, and where we literally look. Here's the other thing too. What happens? I mean, here we're all wearing tank tops. We didn't really have to do this, but we kind of threw it out there. What happens to a man who starts taking himself and life too seriously? Kick that one around a little bit, guys.
Oh, dude. It takes. Yeah, I think Dave's the wrong person to ask. I don't think Dave's ever taken anything seriously in his life. I don't think he can answer that question.
How dare you? I took a thing seriously one time. It was 1996. I took this thing very seriously. It did not go well. I've never taken shit seriously since. You know what? I think it's so important for guys. We are so trapped in this hyper macho society where we're just it's so important that and if you guys are if you guys are on Facebook like me, you guys are being inundated with the like the entrepreneurial stuff and all these guys who want to talk about their war maps and their battle plans and all like this dumb motivational fucking nonsense that just doesn't make any sense when you stand it next to yeah, I'm going to do the shit that I like. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to make the amount of money that I make. And, if my name doesn't, get carved into the annals of time, I'm kind of all right with it. And I think that we come from a place where we're told to take ourselves far more seriously than we need to. And I think that fun and enjoyment and levity holds far more currency from me than discipline and intensity. I think too much of it is just lame. Right. So that's where I'm at.
Fair enough. Phil?
Says the guy who runs Spartan races all the time. There's some sort of discipline and intensity involved in that, I'm pretty sure.
Well, there's also a lot of rolling in the mud with my homeboys. Like,
Yeah, but that's like a Saturday night activity that you don't tend to talk about too much, isn't it?
Not as much as you used to. Phil, what's your take on what is your take on that? Probably the most guilty person. Well, at least in this household for laughing at stuff that you probably shouldn't. And that's probably got me into trouble a couple more times than it maybe should have done. Because I don't know. I used to get, why are you making a joke? Why are you trying to laugh at this situation? It's serious. Okay, yeah. It really is serious. Whatever's happened, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But
very serious.
Maybe the best way to decompress and get around the situation and even take yourself away from the situation to be able to look at it from another point of view is to maybe have a little bit of a joke about it, maybe make a little bit of a funny about it, just calm the situation down a little bit. I think that humor is a great way of overcoming a huge amount of issues, whether it be relationship issues, whether it be money issues, anything. You can add a little bit of a spin to it. You can have a little bit of a joke about it. It doesn't mean you're not taking it seriously. It doesn't mean it's not important. But you can take things seriously and still have a little bit of fun at the same time. And I don't know why, but why are my eyes looking closed and both you guys have open eyes? I don't understand.
That's maybe something that you're going to have to let us in on, man.
I don't know. So for me, yeah.
They shouldn't have smoked so much weed before the broadcast. I don't know.
Come on,
dude.
Phil, I thought those days were over. I think that's another thing that we should all kind of also just share. I know. At least from my perspective, and this was always kind of hard to let out. Is that, man? I had all my issues, drinking, drugs, all that other stuff, and that doesn't make me who I am today, though. You know what I mean? And that was really hard to kind of accept. But the thing is that the more you kind of just let that out, the more you find that everybody's kind of done their share of crap, right? And Dave, I know you've been very vocal about what you've been through. Phil, I think I just recently saw your awesome pictures that you were going to use to entice everybody to get here, but I wasn't really sure of your overall history. But the one thing is, before you jump into that, is that we've all gone through some struggles. We've all gone through some stupid shit. We've all done some things that we're not necessarily not proud of. But they're done. They're over. They're no longer a part of our lives, and it's nothing that should be weighing us down and being anchors to going forward.
Oh, I've lost Brandon.
But Brandon's lost anyway. Don't worry about it.
No, I can't actually hear anything he's saying. I can still see you though, Dave.
Well, then you guys carry on.
So what, okay, now where'd Phil go?
I got him
This
coming
is
back. I'm trying to get him back in here. Phil, can you
this
hear everybody now?
this whole thing is a catastrophe. This whole thing is a catastrophe.
Dave, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. This whole thing
am I here?
You're here. Yeah. What? What am I?
So
why?
Why is Handley the tech guy the only one that's disappeared? He's like, I don't know what happened. What was he saying? Did you hear what he said?
He was talking about how all three members of this group have had their own kind of struggles with substances and with different aspects, and
all kinds of cray cray.
Substance abuse and different stuff. And I think it's for at least for me, it's really important to kind of be forward about that. And I'll say it. If you guys don't know me, I've been sober for 18 years. I've been sober for over 18 years. I was homeless in Los Angeles, guys. And these two fine gentlemen both know my story. But I think that the both of you are at some level not mucking around with the substances either, right?
Oh yeah. Like
yeah. So I don't know if is Brandon talking? Is he talking over me?
Hold on, let me
Or can you only hear me?
Tell Phil to jump in and out. Tell Phil to jump in and out. I can't.
Brandon says to jump in and out because I see both of you guys and I hear both of you guys.
Yeah, I see and hear everybody too.
Right. Hang on.
All right. While we're waiting for Phil to jump back in, I mean, so that the one thing, the reason I put that out there is because, like, I mean, just because we're, I feel like we're all kind of doing some awesome things, and we're all sober now, or at least in a point in our lives where we're not doing all the crazy that we were, but it doesn't mean we didn't go through it. Doesn't mean we're not. Doesn't mean we don't know what it's like to be in the trenches and all that stuff. Phil, you in, bud?
Yeah, I'm here. So, obviously, my slightly involved a little bit of dabbling in bits and bobs, and part of that, I think a huge part of that actually is the reason that down the line, which is it's something I like to talk about and touch on, is my really difficult battle with anxiety that I have and continue to have, which can be crippling. If you don't get a hold of it, it can really mess you up. And I know, a lot is said of certain drugs being harmless and not an issue, and just do what you want to do, and it's fine. It won't affect you, but it will fuck you up. Big time. I've spent 6-7 years trying to overcome a lot that happened, mental wise, thought wise, brain wise. And I'm probably always going to be wired a little bit crazy now, and that's okay because everyone is a little bit crazy. But some days I can't have a clear thought, and it's really difficult to get through that day. And other days I'm absolutely fine, and I know exactly what that's down to, and I know exactly what my anxiety is down to. I was so messed up one time that I was having these like palpitations in my friend's car. We were down an alley in this car, and I could feel all this like weird going on in me, and I was like passing out, and I was like, my heart was going crazy, and I was like, dude, you have to get me an ambulance, and he was just as fucked up as I was, so it made no difference. And that's taken me probably until this year. I couldn't even feel my own heartbeat. That it used to freak me out big time, and anything to do with it. And then with that comes, other issues, mental health issues that come with that. It's like, oh man, I've got like heart problems every time I'm conscious of my own heartbeat. If I do a little bit of exertion, I can feel it going, and I'm like, oh no. And then I starts panicking, and then it starts making me think in my head, oh man, like, what if I'm going to have a heart attack? What if I'm about to have a stroke? Oh. And then like the sweat start happening, and you can't think properly, and all you're thinking is that you're going to die. And it leads on from there. and then that affects you for the rest of your life as well. I had an issue with my eye a couple of months ago where I had like bleeding at the back of it, and I don't know why that happened. I'd probably just knocked my head. There's not really much in there, so it's fine to knock. But that I was told by my doctor, oh, I need to refer you on to the eye clinic, which is like a specialist unit. So I need to refer you on to the eye clinic. Didn't tell me anything more about it. And then like the next day, the eye clinic rang me and they were like, oh, we've had an urgent referral. And the first thing I assumed was that I immediately had some sort of brain tumor. And that goes back to my issues with like having anxiety with my heart. And that goes back to issues of dealing promiscuous substances. And obviously all of that probably would never have happened. And I would never have had that sort of anxiety and these panic attacks and things like that. If I hadn't have done that in the first place. And it's so important to sort of get the message out there that it might seem like a little bit of fun for the time being, but it fucking ruins you for the rest of your life if you're not careful. I don't know. Dave can appreciate that because, you know, it must be seriously hard for Dave to even, you know, go out for dinner, go out to see his friends, go round to parties, barbecues. Man, that must be every single day is a struggle. Like I have a battle every single day with, you know, Dave single minute with what he's got to cope with, you know. And I don't know if you did you go over your backstory before, Brandon? I completely cut.
Oh yeah, look, my backstory, you know, definitely abuse, not to the same degree as Dave, but I don't think that far off. And, you know, when you're doing it and you're by yourself and there's nobody else but you in the world, then, you know, you don't feel like you're impacting anybody else. And I'm just saying, like, you feel that way when, for me, before having children, right? Before getting married, before, you know, being with Meg, you don't, you're not taking anybody else into consideration and you're still feeling like you're nigh invulnerable, right? And you don't feel like anything can touch you. For quite some time. I don't think that it came to the point for me. Listen, don't get me wrong. There were definitely incidents where, like, I can still remember, like, laying out in some random, like, field in Texas, you know, just, you know, curled up in a ball and crying for like hours. And, you know, it was you know, there were some intense moments, but I don't feel, other than the fact that they were a hindrance to potential progress looking backwards, that impacted in the same way that you or Dave were. And that's not to diminish or say any one is less or more than the other. We just all had different experiences as it went through. And more recently, I've quit drinking. I haven't had a drink since May. And that's been more to the degree of nobody ever came up or told me, hey, you're drinking too much, you've got a problem. Nobody ever said, as a matter of fact, it was vice versa. It was like, hey, let's go drink everywhere with everyone. And it just got to the point where I was like, I don't feel comfortable anymore. And that's what I talk about at the beginning, creating this podcast. When I was sitting here talking about all these things that you know, fatherhood this, fatherhood that, do the right thing. And here I am drinking on the weekends, getting all banged up. I'm like, I feel like it's not, I don't feel like I'm doing the, I'm not, my audio is not matching my video, right? I feel like that I needed to cut that out so that I could be in alignment with the person that I want to portray. And so, I mean, that's really it, man. I just don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to walk around advertising Budweiser without getting paid for it. Either, like wearing T-shirts. I threw out like all my, you know, T-shirts and to Mike's, you know, what's crazy is that I'm so excited about this year, and let's just talk about some things that we're celebrating this year too. So let's flip it from all the stupid shit that we did that made us crazy. We did a bunch of dumb things. Let's talk about some of the awesome things that like we've seen in our recent years, right? And if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into that. Like this year, I threw out a bunch of Budweiser shirts, Yingling shirts, sweatshirts, all these one-time trophy shirts, right? It just says, hey, Jack Daniels, well, all these shirts that just kind of advertised that I was a booze hound, and nobody was paying me to wear those shirts. I was wearing them because they were like trophies given to you. Look what I got for free at the bar, type of shirts. To getting rid of all those, and this year, I've got, I think, four shirts that I'd never had a single one like them before. 3 triathlons and a 5K. So I'm proud to wear those shirts, man. And I'm really proud to wear those shirts in front of my children, around my family, around my friends, because that indicates that you kind of had to know me before, but to me that indicates just a tremendous leap forward that I've taken, and I'm happy to celebrate that. I'm happy to wear those shirts because those are shirts that say fucking awesome.
Right. It's real easy to get into these kind of war stories, and I can't stand them. I really can't. I can't stand them in the recovery community. I can't stand them in the in the bars, because I go hang out with people, man. I have a lot of friends who aren't sober, and I can't stand these sort of war stories where we're comparing, how bad it got for me with how bad it got for you, and now we're just like competing trauma or whatever. Like, my dad beat me with a stick. Well, my dad beat me with a fucking wrench, and my dad, it's oh, for Christ's sake. What I want to hear about from the guys that I love, and what I want to hear about, and Brandon, I really, I so relate. Like I started doing the Spartan races, and I started doing Tough Mudders, and a while back I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I started getting all the T-shirts, and I started getting all the hats, and I noticed this crazy shift in my identity, in who I not only portrayed myself to be, but who I deeply, deeply believed that I was. And who I deeply believe that I am these days is an athlete, and I will never be a hyper elite athlete. I'm comfortable with that. Like, I'm never going to be, one of these hyper elite jiu-jitsu players or Spartan racers or whatever. And that's fine. Any more than I don't know, you may still win a Kona. You're a young man. And I think that how handsome you are really will play a factor into your ability to move through the water really efficiently. So you may still win a Kona as far as triathlons go. But that's never going to be my story. That's never, ever, ever going to be my story. But my identity, who I believe myself to be, who I see myself as, is a guy who is consistently athletic, consistently pushing, who does hard things and who does hard things intentionally, who really engages activities that are painful and miserable and hard on purpose. Because I want to feel that. I want the world, I want the earth to push against me. I want to have to push back. And I don't want to do it from the bottom of a bottle, and I don't want to do it from a bar stool. And what I don't want to do is have this kind of linked arm camaraderie with guys in a pub while we're cheering for guys who are doing the things that I want to do. I want to fucking play. I'm never going to play it at major league levels. But I want to fucking play.
You want to participate in life.
Yeah, and I think that's really where it boils down to, is I want to be a participant. I don't want to be a spectator. I don't want to be a fan, not of life, right? I want to do rad shit. And what I want most of all is I want to link arms with my boys, and I want them to do rad shit with me. It's why I'm a coach. It's why I'm a huge advocate of obstacle course racing. It's why I'm a huge advocate of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. because I want the guys in my life that I love to do rad shit with me.
So Phil, when you flying over the pond, man?
Right?
You guys are making me tired talking about these triathlons and stuff. Mike, I have to go last. Um, you talk about these, and Dave pointed out really good that obviously, you don't want it to be a pissing contest of who's had the worst life or who's had the shittest, because by no means have I had an awful life in the slightest. And the past year, well, the past like 10 years have probably been really good, not probably. But important thing, I guess, as a win, for me, is none of the, all right, going to the gym, trying to get into some sort of shape, trying to eat healthy, and sometimes that goes out the window. But the big bonus, I suppose, for me would be making the decision to become a matter moral character, which sounds really cheesy.
Ah, man, it's
perfect. It's making really simple changes, which from the outside in people may not have even noticed. So it's things like, I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to lie to other people about stupid shit. I'm not going to go into work and say I've had an awesome weekend. I sat on my ass all weekend watching movies and chilling out with the kids and the wife. I'm going to go in and say, yeah, I had a really nice weekend, chilled out with the wife and the kids. That's what I've done. I'm not going to pretend that I or my life is anything that it isn't. Because I've come to, what makes you happy is what makes you happy. So why worry about what makes other people happy or what you think is going to make other people happy or saying things that you think are going to make other people happy? And the past few years, this has become really relevant to me. So it's things like that. It's things like, not lying to other people about stupid shit. It's being a better man around women, which I think was a huge one for me. It's not doing things that, if my partner wasn't there to watch me, would I really be that sort of flirty with someone? That sort of thing, or would I lean over them in that sort of way, or let them lean over me? And it's like small changes, which I'll say people from the outside in wouldn't notice, that just, I feel, make you a better person, a better man.
Man of character.
Man of character. Where's Justin?
Where's Justin? Justin, he didn't get this round. Justin and I think we're doing something similar later in November. But that being said, I do believe I would love to kind of turn this into a round robin going forward, where anybody, really, if you kind of want to hop on, if you want to rotate in and out, you're welcome to do so. Also, the intent of this is not 100% benign, meaning that we do have the intention to extend a men's group to guys listening in, because we have found, I know I personally have found a lot of strength and support from these gentlemen, as well as some of the other men's groups. And while that has not taken 100% shape at this time, if you're interested in something like that, if you're interested in having some of these conversations where it's real, where you don't have to be afraid to, kind of lay your shit out there and feel like people are going to walk through it and kick you while you're down. Really what's going to happen is, you can lay it all out there and we're going to be like, we've all been there, dude. Stop wallowing in it and let's keep rolling. I mean, I think that's where we're headed with this. So that, gentlemen.
Absolutely. The whole point of a lot of these men's groups, the men's groups that we're involved in on Facebook, for those of you who don't know, you have Fatherhood for the Rest of Us. Phil's is the legacy
of man.
The legacy of man, and mine is the Men's Foundry. But there's a bunch of amazing groups. There's Code of Character, and there's Effortless Alphas, and there's all kinds of the Modern Stoic. Or the
Modern Stoic man.
Carl's is awesome too.
Carl's,
man, yeah. If anybody is into any Stoics,
that Carl, he's a big dude.
Larry Hagner's group. There's a lot of groups out there.
The Dad's Edge. So the point is that if you go into any of these groups, and particularly if you pay attention to this broadcast, please understand, guys, and it's so crazy important to understand that you are not alone. It's the number one. Like, if there's anything that I think that the three of us can really kind of like wrap our arms around each other and promise men who are listening to this, is it doesn't matter. Gay, straight, divorced,
doesn't matter.
Broke, rich, molested, not molested, any PTSD, I was at war, anything you're coming from, you need to know you're not alone. You need to know that there are resources. You need to know that there are men in your life who you can come to. And even if I have no experience with that, even if these two gentlemen have no experience with that there are people who will hold space for you. There are people there are men who will just lock arms with you and give you the space to have the experience you need to have the feelings you need to have, and feel the way you need to feel without feeling alone. And it's so important.
Or judged. I think the other big
judged,
thing
right?
Nobody's going to judge you guys. Nobody is telling me they're judging me. And it's a great. You're getting around a bunch of people who are going to encourage you, who are going to support you to go after being you.
It's not just that as well. I think it gives you space to find a message that resonates with you. Mm-hmm. And that sort of helps you find yourself as well. And it's so important to understand exactly who you are and be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, again, I'm going to go ahead. Dave, Phil, go ahead and plug your, where's everybody finding Dave at? What are the groups? What's the site?
Let's see. My website is become-limitless.com. You can find me just Dave Gieselman on my Facebook page. I do have a Dave Gieselman coaching page. It is not as active as my personal page. If you are interested in my men's group, sorry ladies, the men's group is the Men's Foundry, and it is it's a great group of guys, and if you are hoping to hold on to enter that group and hang on to your comfort zone, it's not going to happen. Sorry, but the best way to get a hold of me is straight through Facebook. Thank you, Cliff.
Thanks, Cliff.
Do me a favor and spell it right there, Doc.
Oh, merciless.
Right? But yeah, so that's my website. I have 7 live broadcasts a week. We just added this one, so it's going to be 8 live broadcasts a week that I do. You can find me Become Limitless, become-limitless.com. Go straight through my Facebook page. If you're on my personal Facebook page and you hit the About button, like, my phone number is on there. Fucking call me, text me, shoot me a message. I'm super easy. If there's something you want to talk about, get a hold of me.
He's easy.
Phil Halfpenny, give us your spiel, brother.
I'm not really hard to find because I don't think there's very many Phil Halfpennies on Facebook. But you can hook up with me on there. You can shoot me a message if you want to know anything. You can find me on Amazon under my name. There's books there. There's going to be another one coming out soon. You can go on Code of Character website. That's where I do a lot of my blogs. There's other blogs involved. You can find my author page on Facebook. That tells you sometimes whether there's blogs there. I'm on Twitter. I don't really do that very much, but you can go crazy and go on there if you want. I'll probably reply to whatever you've messaged me on there about a month later. I'll link you. I'll put some I'll put some links in the comments to things. And obviously, there's the Legacy of Men group, and on that group, you get like a daily message from me, which isn't really very exciting. Sometimes it's a bit crap. Sometimes it's something useful. Just what I've learned during that day. Other guys come in, they chime in, we talk about things on there. The idea behind that is basically just leaving the world a little bit better than how you found it, which sounds a bit morbid, but it's not quite as morbid as it sounds. Well, there you go. That's me, Brandon.
It only sounds morbid from England, man. It sounds great over here. Again, guys, I've got Fatherhood for the Rest of Us, which is a podcast speaking primarily with other fathers. I have the occasional female come on, the occasional woman pops on and shares her fatherhood story, shares her story about, what it is that she's involved with, and also, the impact of fatherhood, a father in their lives. I'm not a woman and I don't have any girls, so it's always important, I think, to share that perspective as well with the listeners. Again, most of the other guests are fathers, and it's just a conversation very similar to this, where I'm learning something. I'm hoping that they are sharing something that they may never have shared before, and it's something that they can share with their children or friends, and it's helping to better the world, really, to help other dads know that, again, very similar to this group, that you're not alone. There's other people kind of going through it, and maybe one of the conversations that I share with everybody transforms your fatherhood. The way that doing the podcast has transformed mine, and similar in the Facebook group, Fatherhood for the Rest of Us. It's a burgeoning group of a lot of men who are in there doing very well, doing awesome things for the world. Like Dave, Phil, there's some steady contributors, but I liken it to the fact that, look, this is basically a fire of some sorts that I don't demand or expect any one person to stay in my group every day or forever even. You come in there, light your fire, figure out, get what you need, and get back out. I do a daily live there in the Fatherhood for the Rest of Us. Just kind of jump in there, and very similar to Halfpenny over here, where I just talk a little bit about some of the stuff I'm learning. How can I apply it to fatherhood, or just like my spiritual journey? I don't know, man. I'm going in there and having conversations and sharing it, and it's growing. So join up, Fatherhood for the Rest of Us. You can join the mailer, or you just jump into Fatherhood for the Rest of Us. Thank you, Phil or Cliff. Appreciate that, brother. Hey, man. I mean, and then listen, guys, we're going to make this like a weekly event. Timing has not been tied down, though, to 100%. So thank you, Cliff Cannon, who's also an amazing gentleman out there doing a bunch of awesome. And he's, follow Cliff and see watch his journey, man. Watching people grow and being a part of their lives while they grow has been another part of this journey. So, guys, there you go. There we are, the Tank Top Trio. I want to say thanks for anybody who joined today. As Dave would always say, look, if you're getting something from this, give us some hearts, give us some love. If you think that somebody should be watching this, somebody should be tuning in, somebody should be joining up with all of us, let them know, man. Let them know. I'll be setting it up next time we know when the broadcast is going to go live. The Tank Top Trio will represent men to the best of our ability.
All right.
It's going to get bad.
Before it gets better. That's right. It always does.
It is going to get worse. I promise it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, this was the first one, so it didn't go as bad as we thought it would, but take it easy, guys. Cliff's had a bad day.
We haven't done the second one yet, and that's going to get